I can record.
Can you record now?
Yeah.
All right, we're good. I figured out how to do it then. Okay, let me just move this over here because I feel like at least then it won't block anything. There we go. All right, ladies, welcome. I'm super excited to have you guys on here. So Sydney and I kind of put this together, and this is loosely based on the training that Amy Silverman and Bonnie Engel did at Summit. We took a lot of kind of what they talked about in building your brand and kind of put those together. And then we both sat down and talked about some other companies that we see and the things that really like irk us and kind of added those in there. So it's kind of like their branding with our twist of don't do what some of these other companies are doing that drive us nuts.
Highly agree.
Well, that doesn't work there. Okay. I'm just going to move this to the other side. Okay. So we want to start off by just saying you need to find your brand and be you. So think about what you like to do, what your goals are, things that annoy you, and those like normal things about you. So for example, like I hate to do laundry. I hate to do dishes. Those are really normal things. That's part of who I am, and it's probably part of who a lot of us are because I don't know a whole lot of people that like to do laundry and dishes, but it is a normal thing about us. Think about those things you've overcome and things that make you special, and I swear to you, there's a lot. And I know that sometimes we feel like there's not a lot, but there's a ton. So sit down and make a list. If you have any questions, you can always ask us. Sydney, do you have anything to add?
No, I think that's pretty much it.
So then in looking at kind of those things, this is what I try to portray as my brand, that if somebody comes to my page, they're going to see that I'm fun, at least most of the time, unless I've lost my luggage, that I love the water, I love to travel, that I'm a weight loss success, I'm a fur mama, and I'm working on building a lifestyle of freedom. I don't know where that's going to lead me later in life, but I know that I want the freedom and the flexibility to do the hours I want, and so that's kind of what I'm trying to portray in those things. My hope is that anybody that lands on my page would see that brand as well. And Sydney, I'm going to let her talk about hers, but it was really funny because I texted her and I was like, this is what I see as your brand. Did I miss anything?
Which is totally true because obviously I portray that in what I do. So being fun and outgoing, a fur mama, because every single time that I post a live video, my dogs are totally in every single one, no matter what I'm doing. I'm a nurse, so I share that as well. Infertility struggles is definitely one of the biggest things that I show and portray and let people know that I am having problems with, because for me, having infertility struggles and sharing that is something that I've grown to know that not a lot of people hear about, and a lot of people feel like they're alone in struggling with, so to speak. And for me, I'm building a freedom for my future family because I definitely don't want to work as much. I've already talked to my husband, and if we're having one child, I am a weekend only worker, and if we're having two children at the same time, I'm quitting my damn job. So a freedom for future for the family is definitely something that we need.
Okay, so then with this one, you just want to remember that in a world where you can be anything, you want to be yourself. And there's always those shirts that are like, unless you can be Batman or whatever, but just be you. So things that you want to make sure you're doing, and this is kind of that real nice breakdown here, is do use your own voice, work from lists. One of the things I did after one of the summits I went to, I can't remember what it was, but I wrote down a list. I answered all those questions from that first slide. I wrote down all the things I like and I didn't like. And somebody asked me what my 5 things were that I posted about regularly. And I was like, ADHD brain, because that's what the page looked like. It was all over the place. But now I can I don't need to write down that list, but I have that list in my head. Like, these are the things I like. And I joked with my sister, I want to be Walt Disney World, like I want to be Disney World. And she's like, you want to be a theme park? I'm like, no, I want people like to hear my name and think of these things and think of me in that this is a really positive thing and a really positive person to be around, and just kind of give them that full experience. Share your story in every post, even if it's just a sprinkling. You're doing your workout, you're, baking your bakery stuff and building that, share that story every time. Be yourself, be relatable. And then I added this one in, be the DVR version. Let people water the show, guys. But watch just the show. So don't put in the commercials, give them that DVR version. Let them fast forward through the commercials and just see you and your story. Don't be a carbon copy. It's really easy. I actually had to go and unfollow a lot of the top coaches because I found that I was starting to post like them. And it's really easy when you're following a lot of coaches to start posting like that. And then I personally found that I lost my voice. So make sure that you're not losing that voice. Don't follow every coach that inspires you. Definitely use those inspirations, get ideas from them, but then put it in your own words. I am totally guilty of this sometimes, posting for the sake of posting. Like there's no point behind it, but I'm like, look how cute the cats are. And definitely don't sound salesy or like a commercial. Those are the ones where we see the other companies and we're like, ugh, did they do that? I remember, Serene, do you remember that one post that I want to say Ryan shared in the group, and the girls were like holding the dollar bill to their face?
Money, yes.
Yeah. Don't do that.
No, don't do that.
Sydney, do you have anything to add?
No, I was just going to say that I totally love the DVR version of yourself. I think it's totally tried and true that you should let people see you, the real you. And I think that, which we're going to talk about later, is, staying away from those, the salesy posts, because the DVR version of you, if you're doing that, you're fast forwarding through all of those sales commercials. Like nobody wants to see that. And a lot of people have a huge issue with becoming a coach because they don't want to be salesy, but you're not salesy if you're the DVR version of you.
Yeah. All right. So things to do, and then I want to say the next slide is some great examples. So include a picture of yourself. Remember that people are coming to see you, kind of like, I want to be Walt Disney World. You don't share a picture of anything for Disney World without that little like Disney logo, and you always see that shooting star, and like, here comes Disney. Do read what you wrote out loud to yourself. So this is something that I started doing, and if it's not something that you would have a conversation with, like if I was talking to Sydney, if I wouldn't say it to Sydney, or I wouldn't say it to Zareen or Karen or whoever I was talking to, then I go back and I rewrite it. And I reword it, and sometimes I reread it out loud. This actually came from one of Covey's 7 Habits of Effective People. Begin with the end in mind. So think about the message that you're trying to portray, and ask yourself, does it portray the message I want, or is this going to, lead me someplace else? So if your end goal is to connect somebody with a challenge pack, let's just say that's the purpose of your post, is it portraying that message where they're going to want to talk to you about that? Stay true to your brand. Definitely post consistently. This is a big, big thing. And I've seen it with myself that the minute I start to post inconsistently, I feel like I lose all momentum. Big Mo leaves, and it's like being on one of those merry-go-rounds, and all the kids hop off, and you're just on it by yourself, and you're like, I'm trying to start it. That's what I feel like anyway. Create curiosity in your post. So don't tell them everything, don't give them all the info. Give them a reason to message you, and prompt them to message you or reach out so that they can get more information. If you give them everything at once and you tell them everything, they don't have a reason to talk to you. And remember, this is a business about building relationships and, having those conversations. all that good stuff.
Can I add to that a little bit?
Oh, sorry.
No, that's fine. So I am actually doing, well, it sort of ended, but I have one more video to watch, but I am rocking out a group with Josh Coates, who is a John C. Maxwell awesomeness part of his brand and consistency. And one thing that he talks about in Doing You is when you're posting and you're posting these curiosity posts and you're prompting them to message you, one of the good things you can do is, so say you're doing a challenge group post, if you're starting with questions and asking them, and it's something that relates to them. So have you ever felt drowned in the things that you do? Have you ever felt that the holidays totally drag you down and all you can do is gain weight? Doing your questions and your posts like that end up really grabbing attention of others, which works really well. And then ending in a call to action, which I think is something that everyone should do with their posts, especially if it's something that you want people to engage in and engage in your posts.
Yeah, good point. I like that. Questions are definitely helpful.
Mm-hmm.
Even just in building your affinity with Facebook, asking like a simple, like, which shirt should I wear is a really good one too. People like answering questions.
Exactly.
All right, so here's some inspirations I pulled. Doreen's probably seen the one on the left if you're facing the screen with the mascara, because it was shared in our Star Diamond uplines. So this is Christina Delgado, and what she did with this post was she held out all the mascaras, and the general gist of it was, you know, I know which mascara works best for me and which one I like best, and yet every time I go to the store, I buy something else. And she linked that to, you know, people trying to do different workouts, but still knowing what's going to be best for them, and trying different shapes, but still knowing what's going to be best. And somehow linked her mascara to, you know, her next challenge group. So I really loved that. And I loved the idea that you don't have to have anything to do with the challenge group or your fitness or anything. You can pull mascara out or colored pens or whatever you like, cupcakes or whatever, and could make a post linking to that. The one in the middle, obviously Bonnie. I think she's number 2 this year I saw on the Coach Online office. I would never know by looking at that picture that that was Shakeology. And if you read the full post, she doesn't even mention it, but you can just see the beginning there. It's like, my doctor thinks I'm a quack, but the numbers show different. And then she had a whole bunch of hashtags, and that was it. So if I was looking at that, I would be like, why does your doctor think you're a quack? I don't get it. You know what I mean? And I would want to reach out to her. The last one over here on the right, I really like this analogy. So she was talking about time versus like priorities. And so she linked it to the Gilmore Girls and like everybody binge watching that before it came out on Netflix. And then if you have time to do that, then where's your excuse to do this? Something they talk about frequently is, you know, combating those excuses, but not in an individual way, but in a global way, so that you're not just speaking to the person that gave you that time excuse, you're speaking kind of to all the people that could give you that time excuse, if that makes sense. Sydney, do you have anything?
No.
All right, so do not copy and paste posts. Miley, who's not on this call, actually had this happen to her. Last week, where somebody literally copied and pasted her post, and Miley was like, I mean, I feel flattered, but use your own words. It happens. So, but please don't be one of those people. Don't find a stock image on Pinterest and share it. Make it your own. So look on Pinterest, Google motivational quotes, but then somehow use a picture of your own as opposed to the stock image. Because while you want that message to go out there, if you're just using a stock image, that's something that anyone can find. And they're like, why do I need to go to Jenna for that if I can find that on my own? Don't share a picture of your Shakeology. I know that like I do this and or I used to do it, but something that I really liked from Bonnie and Amy was, I don't have my Shakeology next to me, but you know how it says Shakeology here? All Amy does is she turns it around. So they don't know what's in the bottle. She's still holding it. It's still the same picture, but it's literally just hiding what it is so that people see, oh, that looks like a really good chocolate shake, or like Bonnie did with it being in a different cup, to spark that interest and share that conversation. And if you think about the other products that are out there in the market where you feel real icky, if somebody's holding up their thing and they're like this, it doesn't look so cute. It looks cute to us because we really like that shake, but to everybody else in the world, they're like, maybe not. Try not to share a link to purchase in your post. Remember, this is about building a relationship and having those conversations. So giving a blanket statement with anything, no matter how good it is not the route that we want to go. We want to have that conversation so that we can combat those excuses. Don't share someone else's post. What it does to them, or what it does is it drives people to their page. So again, take what they said, do some, make it your own, and go that route versus just the share, because what happens is they get the sale instead of you. And then don't be salesy. Sydney, do you have anything to add to that?
No, I think you've totally hit everything on point.
Cool. All right, so these are just some examples that I found on Instagram when I searched like the hashtag Shakeology. So these are all things that to us, we look at as coaches and we're like, yeah, okay, well that makes sense. Like, all right, cool. And then we see like this stock image here. And if you look at the notes on it, it's actually a repost. So it's not even something that they pulled off and saved to their phone. They just reposted it from somebody else. So what that'll do is drive it to them. And like I said, for us, we look at these things with the products and we're like, yeah, I love the products. This is awesome. But kind of like Autumn said, I think Zareen was there at the DC Super Saturday. She was like, we're freaks of nature. Like we're not normal. We are not normal people. So this looks cool and groovy to us, but it doesn't to anybody else, the same way that some of the other like competitors, shakes don't portray that way to us, right? So then this was one that Amy did, and kind of like I said, she just turned her Shakeology around and think, which of these people would you buy your Shako from? For me, I would probably look at the one on the right and just go, okay, but you don't even get to see the nice scene. I don't think it would stop me from scrolling at all, personally. And then Amy on the left over there looks more approachable. I don't know what's in her shake. So at minimum, I might not buy it from her, but I'm going to be like, hey, what are you drinking? And, read her post and try to figure it out. There's been people that I've actually read their posts and I'm like, what company do they work for? And I'm like clicking and totally Facebook stalking and going through there because there is nothing on their Instagram that would indicate what they are. They don't even use the hashtag Shakeology. And I go to their Facebook page and I'm digging. And then finally I figure it out. That's a lot of work. That's a lot of time spent. So if you can generate that kind of interest from your posts where people are digging just to figure out what you're doing. If I was not already a coach, I would have had a conversation with them a lot earlier on because it sparked that interest. Oops. All right, so then taking a look at some of these, I just took like a screenshot of a few different Instagrams here, and you can see like which ones are gonna scroll stop you, like what's gonna stop you. Like, who would you follow? Are you going to follow the one on the left that has a lot of stock images and pictures of just their shake and, kissing their shake? Or are you going to follow the one with cute babies because you're trying to build your family and you want to see all this baby stuff? Are you going to follow the one that's got a few different fitness tips in there? And, oh my gosh, that watermelon or whatever that is in the top middle looks bomb. Or are you going to follow this one who looks like she travels all over the place and I want to know why she's looking up a girl's ass? You know, so think about, that's part of why I love Instagram, because I can go and I'm like, ooh, that's not the message that I want to portray, and I can see it all at once. Whereas Facebook, I have to scroll through my own feed to ask those questions. But Instagram, I'm like, oh, boom, yeah, that's not gonna get the people that I want. All right, so now it's time to take action, and I want you guys to ask yourself, you know, take a look at that social media. Are you the brand that are you a brand, or are you a copy? Can you see your face, your body, images that align with your message that you're trying to portray? Can you see your story through the products rather than the company? And do the vibe of your post speak to the tribe that you want? And is it you speaking, or is it someone else? So kind of do one of those self-checks. And like I said, Instagram, in my opinion, is easier because I can see the pictures. It can easily be done on Facebook too, by just going through and going, okay, is this what I'm trying to portray to people? And if it is, great, keep doing what you're doing. And if not, just make those adjustments. You don't need to go and delete anything, but just make those adjustments and move forward. And then this is the last thing here, just a reminder that people buy from you because of the person that you are and not the products that you're selling. And your goal is to help others see why it's worth it to do what it takes to make their dreams and goals come true. An analogy that I really enjoyed, and I think it was in the Morning Meeting book, I can't remember which book it was, but he talked about get a diploma and you want to hang it on the wall, and you run to Home Depot because you want to hang that diploma on the wall. And while you're in Home Depot, someone says, you really want this electric drill bit to drill that hole in the wall. And you end up going home with that $100 drill bit, electric drill, because that's what somebody told you, and you really want to hang that diploma. That's our job. You need to be the hole in the wall that they need to hang, and then you offer the solution of, here's how to hang that diploma. Does that make sense? He worded it a little bit nicer than I did, I think. So,
and I think it was the energy bus that you're getting that quote from.
Was it the energy bus or the Morning Meeting?
I think it was the energy bus. Maybe it's not.
I thought it was the morning, Miracle Morning, but I could be wrong. Anyways, I'm going to stop.
Anyway.
Hey, Tracy.
Hi.
So those are just things to keep in mind. I'm going to stop recording, and then if you guys have any questions, you can ask them there.